All right, hello, my name is Brett. I did my summer research in the Department of Physics and Atmospheric Science, and this is my submission to the Faculty of Science Research Contest. My research focused on simulating the properties of different magnetic materials. When you think of a magnet, you may picture something that you would stick to your fridge, or maybe some pieces of metal that either stick together or repel, depending on how you hold them. Well, these materials are made of atoms, which due to quantum mechanics act as tiny magnets themselves. In something like a fridge magnet or a bar magnet, all of these atomic magnets are aligned with each other, which produces a magnetic field and gives rise to the properties you may be familiar with. This is what is known as a ferromagnet, when all of the atomic magnets point along one direction. My research focused on what happens when you heat up these materials. When we add energy, the atoms begin to wiggle around, and we lose the magnetic ordering, and we lose the magnetization. So here is a graph of this behavior for cobalt, a material which is known to be ferromagnetic. The dots are experimental data, and the blue curve is from one of my calculations using the Weiss model. Here we see at low temperature, the atomic magnets are all aligned with each other, and the magnetization is large, whereas at higher temperatures, the magnetization drops until it disappears entirely. The temperature at which this happens and the shape of the graph are related to certain parameters in my simulations, which can tell us about how strongly the atomic magnets interact with each other. Most of my work was actually focused on a type of material known as a ferrimagnet, where you have more than one type of magnetic atom, and the total magnetization is the contribution of both when you add them together. When we heat up the sample, the atomic magnets may disorder differently on the different sublattices, which can give rise to lots of interesting properties. In the lab that I work, we focus on creating and studying magnetic samples. And for a few years, we've been working with some samples containing manganese, cobalt, and germanium. Recently, some colleagues performed calculations that seem to show our materials may behave as ferrimagnets. So my job this summer was to try and fit the magnetization data to the MnCoGe ferrimagnetic model and see if there was a match. Here I'm showing you some results for one particular sample on the left, where my calculation in red lines up very well with our observed data in blue. On the right, you can also see I've separated out the contributions from the blue and orange sublattices, and you can see how they come together to make the total magnetization. And here you can see some similar results from another sample, which again shows strong agreement between the experiment and my calculated values. So in the end, my work is very successful. I was able to show that our materials were in fact ferrimagnetic. And in doing these simulations, I was able to extract parameters which can tell us about certain properties of these samples and allow us to better understand their underlying magnetic structure. Thank you.